Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 7 of Holy Heck, the podcast. I'm your co-host, Grace.
And I'm Katie.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining. I'm really excited about this episode.
It's fun. We're recording. It's Palm Sunday today,
yes,
which is when we're recording. And so we're kind of on this service was nice.
Yeah.
There's so much that we we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And so I'm good. I'm feeling good and ready to talk about.
At first, I was a little hesitant. Today, I was a little grumpy, and I was kind of like, man, I don't really feel like talking. But the grumps went away. I'm feeling good. Good time with family, friends, and I'm excited to be here.
Me too. So today, we're going to talk about friendship.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. I think I'm titling this one The Bad Friend.
Yes.
Which I think I have called myself handful of times. There's literally been times where I'm like, oof, Katie,
you're like,
I'm being a bad friend.
Bad friend moment.
Yeah. And so I think, I'm excited to talk about kind of what society says friendship-wise versus what Christ calls us to friendship-wise and what that looks like in real time for 2026.
I agree, because I have had so many amazing, wonderful friendship experiences. I've had bad friendship experiences, bad on their part, bad on my part. I've experienced the typical drift with friendships, nothing particular, blow-ups, X, Y, and Z here and there. And so I'm excited to talk about those, talk about future friendships, but how we can compare them to what we're supposed to behave and act like biblically. Yeah. So how are we supposed to behave in friendships biblically? What does that look like?
Oh, man. Well, I think we need to start with what the world says.
Okay.
Let's start with what the everyday, what you glean from Instagram, TikTok. Okay. Yeah. I feel like Instagram and TikTok friendships are so different than real world friendships. Yeah. Because I don't know if you see this on your feeds all the time, but it's the girls club, and it's they have these perfect, beautiful outdoor picnics in the backyard, and it's all boho, and everybody has matching bows and
it's
name cards.
At a rented venue or a massive house, and you're
make your own flower bouquet, and it's wow.
Where are you getting this money?
I know, literally. I'm that's so much money.
That's an expensive friendship.
It's expensive. And so that as the expectation of well, if you're really good friends, sorry, our cats are losing their mind. But if you're really good friends, you do that stuff. Yeah. Girls' trips. That's a big thing too. Yeah. It's I'm going to go travel Europe with my bestie. And
to be completely honest, in friendships growing up, there's been times when I've been oh, it's so fun to go on a girls' trip. But I feel you're actually my first friend where I'm oh no, I think we would have let's go on a girls' trip.
Yeah. Where do we go?
I don't know. We've talked about this before.
Orleans. Why is it New Orleans? I'd have so much fun in New Orleans.
I feel we would.
Mardi Gras.
We'd come back with the little beaded necklaces.
No, we would not.
Tatted,
you know what that's for, right?
No. I just picture party feathers, boas,
Okay, I'm pretty sure.
No, don't say it.
I'm gonna look it up to just confirm. Hold on. I'm pretty sure though that you get beads if you flash people.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Why has no one told me?
Beads at Mardi Gras.
I'm picturing you walk in the door and it's someone handing you the cute little
No, flashing is not required.
Okay,
but
so it is a thing.
Yep, it is a thing, and is mostly limited to Bourbon Street. So we'll just stay away from Bourbon Street.
We'll stay away from Bourbon Street.
But I would be nervous about the beads and the the message.
Yes,
that
gives across. Because people could be oh, she flashed someone. Yeah, no thanks.
She's got her yitties out. I know that
for sure. The other place I could picture us is a mountain town. The two sides of our personalities is either woo,
New
or
Orleans
it's
would be for literally just the food. I feel aspect, I'd be the history would be cool.
We would have fun.
I'd be I don't like this.
We'd be walking around with our little holy water.
I love it.
But back to what society says about friendships.
Yes.
You're explaining the very intricate, expensive, very cutesy, Pinterest perfect. Yeah. And always captured online. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I get that quite often in my feeds as well. I think we have such a big, want for community and want for, sisterhood and girlhood. But I feel it gets misportrayed quite often.
I agree. I think that oftentimes biblical girlfriendship behind closed doors looks radically different than that on Instagram.
I would agree.
Radically different. You're wearing sweats. And you're not feeling well.
No,
and
you're talking, you're crying, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also even when it is beautiful and stuff like that, there's no phones.
No.
You know, like it's very often or very, very rare that we'll be like, oh my God, we need to take a picture.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like we have to purposely be like,
we need a photo together.
Yeah, we need
or
a photo
we
together.
Don't have one.
I don't have anything with you. But like for the most part, like we'll go do like full day. We spend all day together.
All day.
And like I don't even know how many photos together we have, but it's
the last one I have was I think from last Mother's Day.
Ain't no way.
No, I'm serious.
Are you serious?
No.
We took selfies when we went on the hike. Yes. Okay, that was last week, 2 weeks ago? I don't remember. But point is, we don't take photos together.
Yeah, no, not often.
Yeah.
And even if we are doing like really cute, picturesque type of trendy things, I think that's the last thing we think about to take a video of it or to take a photo of it. And if we do, it's like, oh, cute, I have my memory. Like something
and people
like
are
that.
Different. I will say, like different personalities exist where people are like, oh, I just have to capture things. And like, I'm not saying that's bad. But I will say that like, get caught up in the moments.
Again, comparing to what we see on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Like people getting caught up in the moments and enjoying themselves. Rarely does a phone come out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we see a lot of that. A lot of picturesque and just polished on Instagram.
We see the complete opposite, which is like, I'm protecting my peace. Don't inconvenience me. I'm not going to sit here and show up for you if you don't show up for me. It's very like, tit for tat, like you'll get what you like. You'll get what you
one
give
or the
me.
other.
So that's what you see world side when it comes to friendships. On the opposite side, when we talk about friendships in the Bible, let's pull some verses that we like, just off the top of your head, that like friendship wise, where friendship's talked about. I think for me, obviously, Jonathan and David.
Yep, that's
biggest example
what comes
of
in
like
my head.
Yeah, and what did like Jonathan do for David in that situation? So like backstory, 1 Samuel, Jonathan and David are like BFFs. They literally describe each other as like this one is like
is me.
Yeah, like he is my soul friend. Yeah. Like soulmates.
Yeah,
if you will.
They had
like
a lot
they
of love
literally
for each
were
other.
like brotherhood.
Yeah.
Loved him more than himself. Like that's what
it was.
And so like what did Jonathan do that shows what friendship is?
Yeah, let's take a look at that whole situation. Let's not forget who Jonathan's father was and that whole situation going on with David. And yet at the same time, still knowing he had a whole kingship waiting for him, Jonathan. I don't remember what the item of clothing, if it was his coat that he gave David. That was such a symbolic moment of him being like, I don't really care my standing or where I'm at because you matter more.
Yeah.
And so just even how they stuck around in each other's friendships, looking at what they were going through.
Yeah, so give the backstory. What was going on with Saul and
basically
David?
Saul was trying to kill David. And it never really stopped,
and
to be honest.
Saul is daddy.
Yes, Saul is Jonathan's dad.
Yep.
And so Saul is trying to kill David. He's like pursuing him all throughout wherever. He's like hiding in caves, hiding behind rocks, and he's just getting pursued to try and get killed.
Yeah.
And because David is going to be king, he's the rightful one who should be king, and Saul doesn't like that. He doesn't want that to happen.
Because it's supposed to be passed down through Saul's lineage to
which would have been Jonathan. And that's why there's that symbolism of Jonathan being like, no, here, take my jacket.
Yeah.
Because it's almost as if Jonathan's like, no, I don't care, I don't want it.
Friendship
like, it's yours.
Is worth more than just my kingdom, my money, my status, my royalty. Like
exactly.
Yeah. That's huge.
Which speaks volumes.
Yeah, that's
especially
huge.
Like that day and age, that time. That's crazy.
He even knew too at one point, right? That like he was gonna die.
I think so.
Like I'm pretty sure Jonathan knew, like at a certain point, that like his family was going up against God.
Yeah.
And he was like,
we can't win that.
Yeah. Like, oh, it just breaks my heart. But it was such a beautiful showing of friendship. And then to see David's response to that after Jonathan dies, which is like, well, give me his family, give me his children, I will take care of them. They have a place in my household for forever.
He mourned over him.
Yeah, like that was beautiful, just beautiful.
That was, it's a really beautiful picture.
Such a good example of friendship. And we hear over and over again in the Bible too, like what friendship is supposed to be. And so we've got like iron sharpens iron, right?
You are who you're with, like that aspect too.
And like, you know, if your friend wrongs you, rebuke him, and if he repents, forgive him. And so it's this idea of like close community and honesty, accountability and inconveniencing yourself and doing the hard things. And so that looks radically different than what we see in the modern view of friendship.
Yeah, especially because today's day and age is so like speak your truth. You are who you are, or whatever you want to be. That I think just tries to perfectly just skip over any sort of accountability friendships can have.
Yeah.
Because again, depending on your circle, who you are, who you're friends with, it's like you have to be careful with people in communities. But it's like, why are we like that?
Yeah. I think that brings up such a good point too of like accountability, the line of towing between loving someone and holding them accountable. Like we talk a lot in Christianity about truth and grace.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
Like if you have truth without grace, you're just a jerk.
You're mean.
But if you have grace without truth, like it means nothing.
That's not loving. Yeah.
And so like having both is so important. And so kind of this idea of like peacekeeper versus peacemaker. So yeah, what is
when
that?
I think of a peacekeeper, I think it's somebody who doesn't want to upset somebody's feelings, who's like, no, I'm kind of going to play a middle ground no matter the situation or like the friendship or the problem or whatever's going on. It's instead of being like, yeah, I know my friend's behavior is not healthy for themselves. It's not good. Like, I don't really want to cause a commotion or a problem bringing it up. So like, oh no, they're fine. Like, it's okay. Like maybe I can just like encourage them to do the opposite, you know, just staying very neutral.
So it's almost like keeping the outward peace.
Outward peace,
of like
I would
everything's
agree.
calm, nobody say anything.
Appearance almost of like, you're good, I'm fine, we're fine. When it's in reality, like everyone's bubbling under the surface with something.
Yeah. And then opposite of that, what's peacemaker?
I immediately jump to someone who calls somebody out for the sake of their own goodness and their own health, whether or not they know the person's going to respond well.
Like peace, though. Do you know what I mean? Like
that's true.
I was like thinking about this too, and like how Jesus like came to bring peace to the world, and like what did he do? Like he literally
called people out.
Well,
like
that, and he like completely tore apart religions.
Yeah, he did.
Do you know what I mean? And like tore apart like systems and like governance and
well, even think when they were selling in the temple and
my
flipping tables over,
flipping tables
like
and whipping people. That is really interesting. But like he's considered like the Prince of Peace.
Yeah, that's one of his names.
That's crazy. So I think it radically changes my idea of like what is peace, right? So like peacekeeping versus peacemaking. What is peace then? What is the thing that we're striving after?
Ooh.
I know. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay. That's a really good question. You gotta feel this out with me a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, it talks about it, right? Like the fruits of the spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. So, like, what is peace? Like Jesus exemplified fully the fruits of the spirit.
Yeah,
he had peace, and
I don't
know if I would outwardly look at him and say he was a peaceful person.
Yeah, because in my head, my immediate reaction when I think of peace, the like visual I'm getting is like still waters. You know what I mean? Like serene, calm, like sound mind.
Yeah.
That's like immediately what's just popping into my mind. But again, when we're like looking at Jesus as the biblical example, there's so much more to that. I think with that sound mind and with the quote unquote steadiness you get with peace is the ability to see wrong and to know when to call it out. Because it's going to promote that same steadiness in somebody else.
Yes. Like, okay, like oneness with God.
Yeah.
Like
because that's how it
unity
feels.
And purpose.
Because like there is no peace outside God.
Yeah. So like peace in God, peace in Christ.
Yeah.
Knowing, and Jesus exemplified that in every single point. Okay. That's lining up to me.
Okay. Yep, it's clicking. It's clicking.
But yeah, like definitely like I think that makes a lot more sense to me of like peace is trusting fully and knowing that God is sovereign.
Yeah.
That doesn't always look like not crying ever.
No.
That doesn't always look like not causing a ruckus or not calling somebody out. Like it just looks like trusting God and having full faith that like God will handle what
God's
he will
got
handle.
It. Yeah. I like that. The mutual assurance.
I like that. Yeah. It's a good thought to think through today.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So peacemakers versus peacekeepers. Okay. And then we're getting into friendships and how that works in our friendships.
Yeah.
Give me an example of a situation where you have had a really tumultuous or rough friendship situation happen. Okay. What you did. And then I'll ask questions as we go. Because I want to feel out kind of
rough.
like... Yeah, put you on the spot. Here you go.
Okay, thank you. I feel like I've only had two pretty like rocky ends to two of my friendships that I've kind of had growing up and just have had. One of them I've briefly like touched on here and there. we got really close, I think in middle school, and we stayed pretty much friends until graduation, after all of it. And it was the type of relationship where it was wonderful. It was exactly what each of us needed in the time and when we were each other's friends. I think as we became adults, the hardest part is that allowing the other person room to grow wasn't had. And I think that became very tricky.
So what does that look like then?
Yeah, because I think on like the examples I'm kind of thinking of is it's like I've had a lot go on in like family life and growing up, and obviously like that can produce trauma and like how you respond to things. But I had such wonderful community around me that I think in certain areas I was able to work through it quicker than maybe expected, and then like start to move on from it, or like just I'm trying to remember like the exact main example from it, but it stems along those lines. Or even let's use interests of maybe things I used to like, but now that I like got a little bit older, realized maybe I actually don't have as much value in these anymore. Like I want to try doing X, Y, and Z instead. But that one friend at the time was like, they wouldn't accept it almost. It was almost like, well, no, we've been friends for the past 7 years and you've only ever said you would do X, Y, and Z.
Okay, so like was she like almost aggressive of the like, you can't like this?
It was almost aggressive in certain areas. In some areas, if I was like, hey, like, I'm going to try X, Y, and Z instead because X, Y, and Z, it would be met with a like, okay, that's a little out of the normal, but sure. But I think since maybe some growth was happening in my personal life and my walk with the Lord, but also in finding out who I was as an adult and what I liked, it wasn't on the same timeline as theirs. It got met with friction because it was like, whoa. You can't be ahead of me in this area. I'm older. Or like, I can't be ahead of you in this area. Like, because you do this more than I do this. It was weird. And I think it was easier for me to like be okay with the change because I've had so much change in my life and I've seen so much change in people that it didn't bug me as much. But that probably was the biggest cause of that friendship ending. It was differences in how we handled relationships, a difference in how we like romantic partner relationships, but then also like friendships and mentorship. And then I think also churches too, because started going to like a little bit of a different denomination of a church. And I think it just all started meaning of like, hey, like we've been growing in the same direction in our friendship, but I'm actually starting to go this way and you're starting to go this way. But it wasn't met with the like, this is beautiful. It was met with the like, okay, so you're not coming over here?
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So in that
situation.
Sorry
to be so vague.
No. I think that most of us can get the gist. Because like, again, a lot of us have experienced things like that, whether that's like through friends or like family.
Yeah.
I feel like on my side, a lot of it's been family.
Yeah.
Like, love my dad. Joey will tell this all the time too. I used to be such like a sugar maniac when I was like a kid, and he still thinks that I'm like that to this day. So like every time he comes into town, he's like, well, keep the cake away from Katie because she's a sugar hound. And my husband's like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
You know, like he's like a self-proclaimed sugar hound. And so it's just so funny because again, that like label that's like, you just can't change.
There was the inability to like peel off the label and like let there be a new one.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of people can relate on like lots of different aspects of that. So then, as if you could go back and like coach both of you through that situation.
Oh my goodness.
What do you think that you would have suggested happen?
Oh, just to sit down and talk about the differences and be like, hey, like why are you feeling so scared that she's growing in this different direction? And why are you not scared that you're growing in this direction? Because down to the root of it, I think it was just a level of insecurity of like losing each other's friendship. That was the root of it. I think it was of one being like, hey, we've been friends through our like semi-traumatic lives for the past 7 years. And then I think it almost was a little bit of that like trauma bond of like, oh, well, like
can't lose each other.
We're growing out of this now. Like, scary change. Like, so I think I would sit down with each of us and be like, hey, you're going to start changing and growing. And that's wonderful. Don't stop. However, don't let that make you forget about the people who've been there for you for this past 7 years.
Yeah.
And I think for on the opposite end with her, I would have been like, hey, give her the room to grow. She's not going to forget about you. Like, she loves you and she knows you. Like have this conversation, but be okay with there being a little bit of wiggle room. Yeah. And I think that would have helped the friendship probably stay longer than it actually was. Yeah. And again, that has to be an act of humility on both sides.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, I think I should have been so much more sensitive and aware of, like, oh, like my actions right now, like even though I'm growing and this is good for me and this is healthy for me, like it is also affecting this person. And just because it's good for me doesn't mean it's necessarily okay to have like this effect on her. Not to hinder my own growth and my like spiritual walk, but just to be more aware.
Yeah. Okay, so then with that in mind, are there things that you would have done differently or should have done differently?
I think just the communicating more. I think would have been better. Yeah. She always had a saying that was like, it's unkind to be unclear. And like we would love to say that. But again, I think we just got a little too comfortable and like thinking we knew each other and that we were going to stay that way forever. And so I think going back, I just would have communicated more. Yeah. And depending on how that would have been met, I think would determine so much. Because if it was met with hostility and be like, well, you can't change, then I think it would have been the conversation of like, unfortunately, I don't think we can be friends anymore then. Yeah. Which ultimately is where it ended. It was a like, I don't even know you anymore sort of situation when I'm like, that could have been
different,
avoided, I think.
That's so hard.
Whether or not the ending would have been the same, I think the way it ended could have been so different.
Yeah. So then if we're kind of applying that to not just friendships, but like family stuff, like what advice would you have for that situation? Like if family's having a hard time with you growing, you can't just end a friend, like end a family relationship, you know what I mean? Like that's completely different. But we are still called to like be brothers and sisters in Christ with like our family, if like they're believers. And so how does that look? Like if you run into like they're unwilling to view that you could ever be a different person.
Communication. I think there's two levels that pop in my head. I think there's a fine line you have to ride almost. Immediately, like, I think a good example is my oldest sister. Again, I was always, like, the baby to her. Yeah. And then again, like, getting married, moving, like, being an adult. We had a really, really, really sweet FaceTime call a couple months ago. And again, I like, think it was so easy for her and her husband to be like, well, no, like, Grace is little Grace. Like, she, like... She stays here. I can't
imagine, like, literally watching, again, I'll notice this with my daughter and my niece and nephew, but, like, literally seeing somebody grow up from, like, a baby. Yeah. And holding them to, like, they're an adult and they're making choices, and I do not agree.
Yeah.
That's got to be so weird.
I know. And so, like, I think the FaceTime call anyways, it was beautiful because I didn't sit here and I wasn't like, hey, I'm going to pretend to be the person I used to be because it's still me. But like, I'm an adult now. I have different interests. I'm married. I have a life, X, Y, and Z, you know? And so we had a wonderful FaceTime call. And I was like, hey, like, I can't wait to see you guys so like you can get to know me as an adult. You can get to know me as a married woman. And I said that flat out. And it was just met so well. I like was like a little nervous, but again, like we always had such a close relationship. Yeah. It's just now, like I want to get to know her more as a mom. She's got 3 kids now, like living a different life. Like we're not there yet. And so I want to like learn and glean as much as I can. Yeah. And so I think of maybe approaching with the opportunity of like, granted, she met me with like a wonderful response, but I think if it was met with hostility, I think I myself would have the responsibility to put the communication out there. But I think if it was met with hostility, that's that like fine line I was talking about of like, what is that point of like, ooh, a relationship keeps getting met with angst. Like this is just hurting you more and more, but you've gotten your point across. Then I'm like, that's all you can do. I don't think there's any need to like
continue. Yeah. No, I totally get that.
Yeah. If the hope that's helpful.
I think it is.
Yeah. And even like as silly as it sounds, like maybe warming people up to the idea of like something different. Like I know when we first started this podcast, I like sent a message to people close to me and I was like, hey, I'm doing this crazy thing. Like, pray for me. I'm so stoked. I'm so excited. I am going to talk about you. And it was like met with like, oh, okay.
I don't think I warned.
Like, congrats.
I don't think I warned my family.
No, that's
I don't think I did. Yeah. I mean, that's a whole different situation though, because I feel like I'm very vocal and communicative for the most part, and so it's not really shocking that I like. Well,
I think in growing up I wasn't, and so that's why I think I was
there's
like
a difference. There.
It felt a little bit more liberating for me in a way to be like, I'm doing this thing.
I am speaking. Yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah. So that's probably a good example in things that I wish I would have done different, or things that have helped for sure. Yeah. How about you? What's your example? Yeah. Okay, kind of start from the beginning of like what you had asked me. What's an example of like a friendship that maybe got rocky, went wrong? Yeah. Where could have things changed? And all its questions as we go as well.
Oh man, I like didn't think I was anxious to talk about this until literally you asked it, and
really?
my heart went. When I was really young, not super, super young, like an adult. But when I was young, I had this friend and loved her. We'd literally been through so much together. And I will change details because this is a really sensitive situation. But I think that it is probably like the situation that people run into that they're like, hypothetical, like what would you do? This is the situation.
Oh dear.
And so I think it's good to talk about because I think there's a level of like unpacking it that can help people kind of understand what they would do. But we'd been through so much together, and this is when I was here.
Okay.
And I walked in on her cheating on her husband.
Oh my goodness.
And it rocked me.
Yeah. What did you do?
Well, so I was friends with both of them. The guy was like a part of my friend group, and I think it was one of those things where like, you know, they immediately pretended nothing was going on, and like it was fine. Like they just, you know, split up and were like, oh, haha, you know, and just kind of like ignoring it. And so I didn't really know how to react because I was again like shocked more than anything.
Yeah.
But I like was not the only person that knew. And so I remember I like went home and I was like freaking.
Yeah.
Like freaking out. Like I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, you know, she's ignoring this. She's pretending none of this stuff happened. And I don't know how to be a friend, but I also don't know how to be like a good Christian in this situation because this is like a really weird, nuanced situation where like, how do I love somebody, hold them accountable, and be a good Christian? Like it feels like this weird, like there's different answers for every single one of those.
Yeah.
You know, like if I was to look at the world and what the world would say on like being a good friend, like not ride or die. Like,
you're like,
your secret dies with me. I will not say a thing. Like keep doing what you want, girl. Like that's what the world says to do. And then when it comes to like being like that's a good friend, and then like being a good Christian and holding her accountable, it would look completely different. And so I was really racking my brain on like what to do, and I like ended up like researching all this stuff on like what do you do? Like I was literally like help desking, and I like ran across this study, and it was basically like 9.5 out of 10 friendships where adultery is caught. The friend that caught, they cut out of their life.
Oof.
9.5 out of 10. If the situation is like handled or whatever. And I like remember like setting my phone down and just sobbing.
Oh.
Like I knew my responsibility as her friend and also as a Christian was to hold her accountable and to encourage her to take accountability for her actions.
Yeah.
But I also knew that that was basically signing a death sentence on my friendship with her.
Oof.
And that was really hard.
Yeah.
Because again, we were like, I mean, like we did everything. We were so close. And like, luckily, like no kids involved or anything like that. So it was a different situation. But I remember being like, okay, like I'm going to give it a night. I like need to just breathe. But the next day I like called her and I was like, hey, like we need to talk about it. And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Talk about what? And I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, let's just, you know, I know what I saw. And she just broke down and she was like, I know, I'm so sorry. Like it was a one-time thing. Like it was a stupid mistake. I never should have done it. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I like gonna be frank with you, and like thank God other people saw low key, because if they hadn't, I don't know how I would have convinced her she needed to own up to this. But I used that as like other people were aware, other people saw what was going on. If you don't tell your husband, someone else will. Because these other people that are at this party do not give a rat's about you. Not an ounce. So, like, I mean, they're going to take the opportunity to
go
trash
straight
you.
to him,
And so, like, I would own up. And I, like, literally was, like, sitting there on the phone. She was sobbing with me. And she's sitting there being like, you're such a good friend. I'm so thankful I have you. And I had this, like, grief, like, blossom inside of me that was, like, it was so bittersweet to hear her. Because I was so happy and so glad that I could walk through that with her and, like, love her and hold her through that situation of being like, okay, like this is what accountability looks like go talk to your husband and X, Y, and Z, knowing full well that at some point this was going to turn really sour. And so it was so bittersweet. It felt so bizarre. It almost felt like a third person, like holding someone's hand, you know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, like I know you're going to leave,
be okay, but
yeah, I hope it doesn't go bad on the way out. And it did, unfortunately. Like, I don't remember how long it took. I think maybe a year. I think it was maybe a year. Not even, maybe 6 months. But she, you know, ended up turning around and flipping everything on me and being like, all of this is your fault. And like tried to destroy a lot of my friendships on the way out as well. And that hurt so much because, again, I was like, you could have just been like mad at me and be like, I'm done. I don't want to be your friend anymore. Yeah. But instead you like pointed your finger at me and was like, you're a terrible person. And that hurt in its own separate way. But like how that situation was handled was like, I feel like as good as I could have done it. Yeah. But again, it's really hard to look back and like see the loss of a friendship and think that was the only outcome that could have happened. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot. Like, yeah. I think again, being in the moment, knowing full well that the friendship was not going to survive the season and still being her number one person to like hold her and like walk through that with her. It was such a weird situation, but it felt so like Christ-like. Like it felt like the closest I could be to like how Christ probably felt for a lot of his relationships as well, as like I'm gonna ignore the fact that like this is gonna go sour or whatever and just love you where I'm at and love you here. Yeah. And like that felt really precious to be able to like go through that season. And I think I learned a lot and grew a lot in that season on like how to love people. Yeah. Knowing full well that they're human, have human natures. So, yeah. I feel blessed to, like, have been through that, as weird as that sounds. Yeah. But, yeah.
Well, like, you kind of asked me if you could go back and give yourself advice on, like, just what was to come or in areas of the situation. Is there anything? Yeah. Like, what would you say?
For sure. I think that I'm a very like individual event person. So I changed. I've changed since then a lot. But at the time, like when something was done, oh great, like it's done. Nobody's holding on to any of that baggage or being bitter about it at all. And so when the friendship ended up breaking up like 6 months later or whatever, I literally was like, what does this have to do with like I was real dumb. Because again, the months that we had gone through all of this stuff, walking her through it, like she was, again, you're so great. I love you so much. So it's like, oh, we're like good. I'm the 0.5 out of 10. I was like, we're so great. And so I really was like completely blindsided and shocked by the friendship breakup situation that did happen. And I think that, I mean, later on, I was like, oh, duh, like this makes so much sense. But I think if I were to go back, I would literally tell myself, like, do not take the pain to heart. Yeah. She's hurt. Yeah. Like, just let go and don't make it a thing. Yeah. But I, like, in the moment, I literally was like, I don't understand. Like, what is happening? And so I clung so hard to be like, what happened? What did I do? Because I'm super self-reflective. Yeah, and so I was very, like, critical of myself and, like, the fallout instead of just, like, recognizing that, like, people are hurt. And when people are hurt, they do things to other people. That does not make it my fault for what happened. So, yeah, I think I would coach myself that. And I'd probably tell her that, like, you can just say, I don't know how to be friends with you anymore because of the situation. Doesn't mean I don't love you, but, like, I can't do this. Like, you can just end a friendship like that. Yeah. And that leaves mutual love and respect and care for each other while also making it very clear, like, why you cannot continue being friends.
Dude, I feel like that sentence itself said, and, like, even my own friendship breakups that I've had would have gone so far. Yeah. Of the, like, hey, I don't know how to be friends after this, but, like,
I love you. I care about you. Yeah. I like literally wish you the best. I hope.
Dude, that's like, mutual respect right there.
Yeah. Well, and I hope I can like see your updates on Instagram. I'll be cheering for you, but it'll be from a distance because like I just need space. Like I think that would have been cherry.
Cherry on top.
Like this is okay. Like the bittersweet, the pain, all of it. It's okay because it's not like taking a knife to a sundae and just like, do you know what I mean? Like
messing it up,
making an entire mess. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of around all of this, when we talk about friendships and friendship breakups and all of this stuff, obviously the goal is not friendship breakups.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Right? Like I think we all hope that like as Christians, our goal is to be at peace with one another as best as we can. And like to be friends, not even just at peace, but like be friends with one another, encourage one another, build each other up, hold each other accountable, but also bear one another's burdens, like all of this stuff. And so what does reconciliation look like? What does forgiveness look like? What's the difference?
That's a really good question. Yeah, let's talk about a little bit. Which one do you think would come first? Forgiveness or reconciliation? Forgiveness. Yeah. Yeah, because forgiveness comes first.
She's the gatekeeper.
Yeah, she is, to reconciliation.
What is forgiveness?
That's a great question. We should. I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but I love your definitions of forgiveness and reconciliation.
That's so crazy that you do, because I feel like I was like, I don't even know. I was like Ratatouille when they pulled the hat off and everybody was like, literally when I explained my idea of forgiveness, like everyone was like, no, you're wrong. Well, so it's so funny to hear that you're like, I
love it, which is funny too, because now I know the weight of the word when I use it with you.
Yeah.
And so if I use it or when I say it, I know what it means to you. And I'm hoping it comes with that full action behind it.
Yeah.
However, we're adults, so if we do something silly and you're like, I accidentally hate you, I'm like, sorry. Like, there's a difference. But when we're talking about like true forgiveness, what is your definition?
Yeah. For me, I look at Christ as the example for everything.
Of course.
He is the author of literally everything. God is the author of everything, and he defines what forgiveness is for us. Like, he shows the full idea of forgiveness on the cross. Christ died for all, for the forgiveness of sins for all. That does not mean that happened. I think that's where, to me, I'm like, okay, forgiveness is not a unilateral thing.
Okay.
So Christ can't just say, everyone is forgiven, and it's done. Because there is some sort of action step on the reversal that's needed in order for forgiveness to fully execute.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yep, I'm tracking.
So for me, forgiveness, and I get this from Christ, I get this from the Bible, I get it from C.S. Lewis is a big one for me. Forgiveness is a reaction to an apology. You cannot have forgiveness without an apology, accountability, fessing up. And that's why Christ says, like, repent of your sins, be forgiven.
Yeah.
And it's literally, and
repentance
that again
first.
is like Luke 17, I have it here. Luke 17, 3-4 is literally talking about a friendship forgiveness, which is like if your brother sins against you or hurts you, rebuke him. So tell him that he hurt you.
Yeah.
If he repents, forgive him. It is like a step process. And so for me, it's like you have to clarify, hey, you hurt me, this thing happened. You've got an action step. Somebody needs to take accountability, ask for forgiveness. You have to forgive. It is like a full process. And that's what like healing looks like for me.
Yeah.
And like I've seen that again, over and over again with Christ. Like we see all the times of like, repent of your sins, ask for forgiveness, confess your sins to one another. I think that the one time people will use that against me or use the situation against me is like the thief on the cross.
Yeah.
Or no, the people that were crucifying Jesus. Jesus has said like, Father, forgive them. They do not know what they do.
Yeah.
And people will say that and they'll be like, see, but like they didn't ask for forgiveness. And I'll literally be like, okay, so like did him saying that forgive them of their sins? Like did God say like, oh, okay.
They're good.
I don't think so. I think that it was him appealing to the fact of their ignorance.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
I think it was like empathy. Like please
God, they don't know what they're doing.
Don't hold this accountable. They're unaware. But like their actions they're still accountable for. They still have to ask for forgiveness. He's just appealing to the fact that they're ignorant.
Yeah.
So that's where I view forgiveness. And I think that that's really important when we look at friendship.
I agree.
Because again, there's so many action steps on each person in the process of forgiveness.
Yeah.
And so one is, as a friend, are you making sure that when you are hurt or something happens, you are being clear and communicating, like you said, communicating well what happened.
Yeah. Because I think that gets missed often.
Yes.
Because I think it's like, oh, well, they're my friend. Like, I know they didn't mean to do this. So, like, I'll let it slide.
Yeah,
or
like, it's the opposite where they're like, they should know better.
They should know because they know me.
They knew. Yeah. Yep. Big important step.
Yes.
Second step.
Yes.
Accountability and apology.
Yeah.
I think that's super misstepped in our community, in our society. Like,
this is kind of random. It's popping in my head. When we did our premarital counseling, it was with, the gentleman was so cool. He was a pastor. And then he was like, nobody listens. So he became a counselor. And then he got into premarital counseling.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know it's silly, but he's like, you have to truly know the words you're using. Because he's like, we live in a day and age. He's like, if, say, Kyle were to say something that hurts your feelings, don't be like, oh, it's okay. Because, like, subconsciously, you're going to remember the phrase, it's okay. Like, as silly as it is, be like, I forgive you.
Yeah.
Because you have to know that there's a weight behind it of, like, hey, you're forgiven. And same with friendships, same in any other way, you know?
Yeah. No,
as opposed
I agree.
to be like, oh, that's fine. Like,
I think
hey,
sorry,
I forgive you.
Yeah, sorry means something different, too. Like, saying, like, I am sorry. Like, I feel like people use it almost like this weird, like, ugh, bummer that the, like, consequences happened. But, like, whatever.
Yeah.
When I say I'm sorry, and I know that this is a hot take too, I mean I regret what I did.
Yeah.
I genuinely mean, like, if I could go back in time, I would not do the same thing.
Yeah, not a lot of people think that same, have that same thought.
I think there's this idea, I've, like, fought with my husband about this. I, like, literally remember exactly where we were when we fought about this because it wasn't a fight. It was just, like, a debate on, like, what this means. But I remember he was like, well, I don't live my life with regrets. And I was like,
you're like,
are you not a Christian? Isn't to be a Christian to regret so much in your life? Like, I regret how much I've grieved Christ, or I've regretted my sins. Like, and he was like, well, no, because, like, you know, I can ask for forgiveness, and then I can just, like, move forward, and I can be a different person. I'm like, well, how can you ask for forgiveness if you're not actually sorry for what you did? And he's like, well, no, I am. And I'm like, that's regretting it then. And he's like, wait a minute. Like,
again, the difference of the definitions. Yeah.
I think we're so triggered by words too in our society of, like, regret. Like, you can't regret anything.
Well, and also too, I think, like, imagine with that same societal, like, views of definitions in mind, if, say, you did something and I come to you, I go, I forgive you. Like, there's also that aspect of people be like, ew, why did you just say it to me like that?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I'm not sorry. Like, it's a two-way
that's
street.
The expectation. And so there is some times where I'll go out of my way to be like, I understand that I just need to forgive and move on. Yeah. And I forgive you. Like, we're okay. Because I understand that some people, like, expect that or, like, need that.
Need to hear it.
And so, like, I adapt to, like, what the person is aware of. But if I could explain my full thought process, this would be it. And so I wouldn't skip any steps. But that doesn't always work that way. No. So, but yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about reconciliation.
Reconciliation is different.
Yeah.
Because you can forgive somebody without reconciling. But the goal is reconciliation.
Yeah.
I mean, the goal is, and reconciliation
is reconciliation.
Is fully reuniting and healing. And that's, like, completely different than just forgiving someone. I think reconciliation is a lot harder. And I know
there's a lot more to it, I think, in a way.
Well, in a lot harsher situations as well, reconciliation is not always possible, nor the goal. Not always the goal.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Because I was actually even thinking back on some of the friendship breakups that I've had. I'm like, obviously I want reconciliation, but it was a little bit of a challenge in my own mind there for a second, because I was like, ooh, would I want reconciliation?
Yeah. No, there's been times too. I think that's been a huge growth point for me as well, is there's been people that have, like, hurt my husband. And I remember, like, praying for them and about them. And I remember, like, through gritted teeth, like, literally being like, and that we can reconcile. Like, I'm like, I don't like these people.
Yeah.
I don't even like them in an ounce. Like, I literally could go my whole life with, like, never talking or seeing or hearing about them again. And Christ calls me to be better than that. And so I'm literally, like, through gritted teeth being like, I pray for my heart to be softened. But yeah, like, that is the goal. And I think that, like, praying for it in yourself changes so much. Yeah. Like, literally so much. Because literally I'll pray it, and then I'll feel so guilty that I said it through gritted teeth and that I wasn't so excited
Christ giving you that softened heart so instantly.
Like, instantly of, like, don't you love these people? And I'm like, ugh.
It's like, I love them. I died for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, literally. So, yeah, reconciliation, not always the goal, but we try to be. Yeah. So, yeah, I think reconciliation in a tangible aspect when we're looking at friendships is being able to either say, and I genuinely think that being able to say, hey, I don't really know how to be friends with you anymore, but I still love you. I support you. I just, like, can't do this. Yeah. I still think that that's reconciliation.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Again, even for, like, health boundary, like, people-wise, sometimes you just are no longer friends with people.
Yeah.
But you can still be reconciled and still be nice and friendly.
Yeah,
but,
you don't have to be like, we're not friends, by the way.
Exactly. You don't have to preface that.
Yeah.
And, like, it's different because, again, like, a good example kind of like a similar side note is that I did have a friend like sit me down once. I talked about, and it's like, hey, actually, I don't want to be your friend anymore. Bye. And like, again, on one end, I'm like, okay, well, thanks, because that was communication. On the other end, the relationship was already at a point where we could have like kind of slowly distanced ourselves, and it would have been so much more fruitful and I think loving towards each other.
Yeah.
But now you sit me down and now I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Anyways.
To be like completely honest too and take accountability, there was a situation that I had where I did do that. I was a bad friend. And I did sit somebody down and say, like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I, like, feel awful about that situation. This was the one that you had told me that you wanted me to talk about.
Yes. Okay. I think you should talk about it because I want to hear the whole process, what you got to the point of being like, hey, I don't want to be your friends anymore.
Yeah.
After, put a pin in it. I do also want to touch on the part of friendships where it's okay to be like, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
Whether that's not, like, verbally saying, but, like, again, like, that line. Mm-hmm. Anyways.
I think that this flows right into that, actually.
Okay, beautiful.
Because I should have handled this that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the situation. Yeah. What happened? Why did you have that conversation in the first place? And how should it have gone?
This was so hard. This was I led a Bible study. Love leading Bible studies. It's like my bread and butter.
Yeah, your Miss Discipleship over there.
Just love creating friendships. Like, even if it's outside me. I love, like, watching two girls, like, leave and be like, they're going to get coffee next week. I'm so happy. Like,
little mini side note. You're one of the very few people that I've actually met in my life who, like, knows two friends and is like, oh, you guys would get along even more than me and you. Yeah. Like, you're one of the few people who I know.
In genuine friendships. And so it makes me so happy, even if it's not including me, to, like, see people just, like,
you just sit back
good friends to each other. I'm like,
kicking your feet up.
Yeah, no, literally. I'm like, this is so cute. But no, I started a Bible study. It was great. This wonderful girl was in it, and she was a really close friend of mine. And she had tumultuous relationships in the past and all this stuff. And I remember that she sat me down and was like, Katie, I want to be held accountable. The next relationship I go into, I do not want to cross any boundaries with this guy. And I was like, okay, like, what does that look like holding you accountable? Like, so healthy, right? What does that look like holding you accountable? And she's like, just check in, ask me the hard questions, challenge me, like, say the hard things, like, I need to hear it. And I was like, okay. Like, it was so great. And so she gets in a relationship with this guy, and she starts, like, missing Bible study and not showing up to things. And we're all like, where the heck is she? Like, what is going on? And we find out she's like, oh my gosh, I fell asleep at his house. I'm so sorry. And, you know.
You're trying to be like, that was like a little suspicious.
Yeah, I was like, girlfriend, like, I'm all for, like, whatever, you know, like, have your own independence, be your own person. But also, like, I also know when somebody's flat out lying to me. That's, like, a really awful part about me is, like, I just hate it. But I, like, know flat out when people are, like, flat out lying to me. And I'm like, cool. And so I was getting that vibe. A couple of the other girls in the group were also getting that vibe. And so I was like, well, she asked me to hold her accountable. And so I pulled her aside personally, and I'm like, hey, like, what is going on here? And she tells me, she's like, yeah, like, you know, I screwed up. We screwed up. Like, I crossed boundaries. And I was like, okay, what are you going to do next time so that doesn't happen? Like, what can I do to help? And she was like, I don't really know. And I was like, okay. And so she's like, honestly, like, I'm just not thinking about it a lot right now. But, like, anyways, and, like, tried to move on. And I was like, okay. So I brought another one of our friends that's really close.
You Matthew 18'd
it. I brought another one of our friends that's really close. And we both sat her down and we're just like, this is not okay. You told us that you didn't want to do this. You asked us to hold you accountable. So we're doing that. What can we do to, like, help? And she was like, I so appreciate this. Like, this is 100%. This is true. Like, you know, you guys are so right. I'm so thankful that you guys called me out on this. I'm not doing this anymore. And I'm going to set this, and this boundary. Okay. I was like, oh,
awesome.
Hey, I'm so glad. Like, just happy to see her happy about it, if that makes sense. And so I was like, I'm really glad. Like, yeah. And so time goes on, and she slips up again, and, like, in a very obvious way. And, like, she's not even sad about it anymore. She's like, oh, like, we're going to move in together. I'm so excited. And I was like, huh? What? Like, dude, what the heck? Like, I thought you were so upset about this. And, like, at the time, to be fully honest, I was living with my ex, and we were not married. And I was, like, upset. Like, I was crying on the bathroom floor every night, like, hating myself, hating my life. I was so upset over my situation. And my situation was so much more complicated. Like, if I tried to move out, like, he would threaten, like, there was so much else in that situation that I felt, like, stuck. Yeah. And so I was seeing this girl willingly choose to, like, join into this with, like, no obligation or need to. And I was, like, upset. Yeah. So that's my perspective, backstory. But at the same time, I was like, I thought you were really upset about this. And she was like, I just want you to be happy for me. And I was like, no, like, I'm, I'm like, happy if that's what you want me to be. But, like, also, you told me that this isn't what you wanted. And so now I'm just confused. And she was like, well, I don't know. I think that, like, it's God's plan for my life. And I was like, that's where I was like, hold up. Like, it was like the record scratch
God's
sound.
plan for your life is to move in with your boyfriend.
Yeah, no, literally, I was like, record scratch. Like, I was like, well, this ain't God's plan for my life. I know that for a fact. And then I think that caused a lot of, like, internal reflection on myself of, like, I shouldn't have to stay somewhere just because of the situation. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I ended up leaving my ex, like, a year after that. Which is not very long if you, like, consider the timeline of everything.
Well, and also, I mean, if you've listened to Katie's testimony episode.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on. Yeah. But, yeah, and so that happened. She said that, and she was just like, this is God's plan for my life. And I literally turned and was like, I cannot be your friend anymore. I just can't. I'm so sorry. And at the time, like, there was obligations that we had together and all this stuff. And I remember she was telling, like, our friends, like, oh, this will blow over with her. Like, we can still make those plans. And I was, like, texting the friends, like, no. Like, I'm good. And I feel really bad over how that situation happened. Again, I think I was just really in a place of, like, hurt and, like, projecting my own pain and wish that I could change my situation so much that seeing her choose the exact same thing was, like, what are you doing? Yeah. But yeah, I feel so bad over that. I should have just sat her down and said, like, hey, I don't know how to be your friend anymore. Yeah. This is really hard on me. This is why. But I love you. I care about you. Like, I wish you the best. I personally, like, I can't walk through this with you. Yeah. I think that would have been a lot healthier. Yeah. And I think that would have been, honestly, in that situation as well, I think that would have been a justified reason to not continue being friends, because she was actively choosing things that, like, I was hurting because of. Yeah. So I just couldn't be around it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what about you? What are some of the things that you think are, like, good enough reasons to, like...
Yeah, well, definitely that one. I feel like in friendships, it's funny. I feel like sometimes you don't expect that you have to set boundaries in friendships, but I think sometimes you do. And, like, there are few... Again, obviously, I think if someone's doing something very completely unbiblical or whatever it may be, if it's someone coming to you and expressing, like, hey, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z, and you're like, okay, well, I know the level of friendship we're at. You're asking me to keep you accountable. And, like, even again, in my own life, I've always taken to heart of the, like, you are who you're with. And so, like, I've never been one to be like, I have a great example. I've never been one to be a crazy drinker, especially underage. Like, the only time I've ever tried alcohol is if my mom's been like, oh, I got a little lemon drop, you want a sip? And I've been like, and, like, that was it. And again, I had drilled into me so heavy of, like, hey, like, you are who you're with. Like, remember that, like, show me your friends, show me your future, basically. Yeah. And so, like, a few times, again, like, being young, a story that comes to my mind is the youth group I went to. It was so good, but man, unfortunately, it was just the, like, friend group I was in. I was like, man, I love these girls. They're so sweet and so kind. We have so much fun at youth group. But it was like every Saturday night, they're going and getting drunk and they're drinking and they're underage. And it was just too hard for me. And I, like, really, even from a young age, like, that was really hard for me because I'm like, I know that this isn't right. Yeah. You guys know this isn't right. So let's talk about it. And so I talked with my one friend and I was like, hey, like, you're not supposed to be doing this. And it was immediately met with, oh, I actually don't care. Oh. And so I think that was just a healthy of, like, oh, I'm not hanging out with the right people. Like, this is not my group. I will find the people who think the same thing as me, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah. And I feel like as an adult, that happens way sooner. It's like you meet a person and you're like, oh, like, maybe we could be friends. And then like you see something in their character that maybe you don't necessarily agree with. Or in my case, like, I'm holding the standard to the biblical standard or something where you're like, hey, that's like not very biblical.
Yeah.
But they've made it very clear that they don't have any intention to change. I think that's a healthy way to be like,
yeah,
then it's okay to not be friends with them.
I think there's groups of friends too,
yeah,
to clarify
I think so too.
Because like based off of your faith, if you're a Christian, based off of your faith, you can allow different influences.
I would agree.
And so like if your primary influence is Christ in the scripture, if you're in it all the time, if you've got a good solid group of friends, like you're not going to be as easily swayed by the things of this world. And so like for Joey and I, like we interact a lot with people that are like not solid believers at all. And it's not hard for us because I am solid in my faith. I am solid in my convictions. And so like I'm not going to end friendships simply because like they're not going to church this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, because like I have different expectations for different people.
And that's it. That's exactly what I'm getting at is because again, for say the people who are going to be in my life 24/7, my ride or die, my lifers, like you guys, like we all kind of have very similar convictions in very different stages of life. Now, if we're sitting here one day and all of a sudden, like you're like, I've taken up smoking, I'd be like, okay, let's talk about that.
We know,
like but you see what I mean?
Cigarettes.
But a person, we should say that after. But a person who like I saw maybe like twice a month, I'm not going to hold that same standard to because again, like. I don't care what you do outside of your time. Like, it's not like you're someone who's a very influential spot in my life, you know?
No, I agree. I think that that's like, solid on par. I think that letting go of friendships are hard.
Are really hard.
I think that the one that I have that I don't budge on is I am not friends or close friends. I can be acquaintances.
Of course.
But I am not close friends with people who are close friends or talk to often. People that have extremely hurt me. So like my ex is a really good example. I have a very closed off. I do not keep in contact with anybody that keeps in contact with him. Besides my family who like has to and that kind of stuff. That's a firm boundary because I know how he speaks about me. I know what he says about me, and having that connective tissue just continues to cause issues. I've had friends that have like tried to like be both. And the stuff that, like, I hear them say, I'm like, bro, you can't be mad at me for saying I don't want to hang out with you anymore then. Yeah. Because they're constantly, like, saying more stuff. Or, like, well, I heard this. Or, like, I heard this. Did you know? And I'm like, I don't. Like, no. I don't want to.
I don't want to know.
I just don't need to, you know? Like, we're at a point where, like, this is probably as healthy as co-parenting is going to get for us. And, like, I'm good with that. I don't need to hear more, you know? Yeah. Like, I hear bits and pieces, but, like, I don't need to hear a full update every single time I hang out with my friends.
Yeah, I think it's really important to, like you said, look at the categories of friends you have. Who are you considering your inner circle? What boundaries and what standards do you have for the people in that inner circle? And depending on like your faith and where you are in your relationship with the Lord, what do your outer circles look like? Like who are the people you can interact with? And like you said, not be swayed and like it still be a healthy friendship. Yeah. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so action step.
Yeah. Let's talk about some action steps.
How do we not be bad friends?
Yeah. I know we actually touched on this with Janae in our episode. I think kind of figuring out the friends you have in your life in a way, what category they fit into is a good start. Because like I said, I'm not going to put the same expectation I have for you as my friend on someone who I just met and have hung out once with. Yeah. But at the same time, my character and who I am is going to stay the same in all those friendships. And I think that's really important in making sure of that too. Of like, when I am looking and seeking out friends, I'm going to be using that biblical standard. And like, I'm also going to behave that way towards other people. And I think if something comes up in friendships and relationships and you have to take the steps of like accountability, or you have to take the steps of reconciliation or something, depending on how they respond will say a lot, I think, about your friendship and how to proceed.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that that's a really good benchmark for it as well. And like what we talked about too of like clear communication. So like that 3-step process of forgiveness, like clearly communicating.
Yeah, you have to say, hey, this hurt me.
And then taking accountability.
Other person has to take accountability.
That's so hard in a friendship. But like, just be so ready to take it. Because I like remember the few times that like we've had issues. Yeah. Literally like twice.
Yeah, I was like,
But there was one time in particular that I was like snippety about something. And I remember being like, hey, I was snippy about this. I don't know if that upset you, but I definitely feel bad about it. Yeah. I'm really sorry. Yeah. And I remember that like me even saying it before you mentioned it, you were like, okay, like, thanks for saying that.
You're like, I was like thinking on it,
but I didn't want to say anything. And so like, yeah, like being able to just like take accountability, and hopefully it happens before you even have to be told. But
that's
like,
true. Yeah.
If it doesn't, be ready to tell.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then forgiveness is like a huge one for me on like how to not be a bad friend is like genuinely mean forgiveness.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's even too like bringing that eternal perspective in. It's like, it's okay to call your friends to higher standards, especially when they're like for biblical reasons. Because like, I bet you 9 out of 10 times it's like you come to that friend, they're gonna be like, oh, I know. Like before we started this episode, we were like talking about a scenario or something. And we were chatting, and I was like, hey, I think you should talk about this in a future episode X, Y, and Z. And you were just kind of like, yeah, I know, like I don't really want to. And I was like,
the way you called me out too was you were literally like, well, if it's because of this that you're nervous to talk about it, I'm going to challenge you on that.
That's exactly what I said. I was like, yeah, I'm going to challenge you. And then you're like, dang it. Yeah. And you do the same to me. Yeah. And so I think I wouldn't want it any other way.
I think grief too, to briefly kind of try and touch on that. I think grieving with your friends and knowing how to grieve with your friends is like crucial to being a good friend.
Yeah.
Because you will go through seasons in your life where you are not okay.
No.
Where your friend is not okay.
Yeah.
And so like how to be able to like walk alongside them, love them, cry with them, weep with them, rejoice with them is so important.
I agree. Yeah, man. Dude, pray for your friends.
Yeah.
Pray for clarity, honestly, of like, how can I show up and support this person? And like, Lord will tell you.
Yeah. Search the Bible, man. Read the Bible. The Bible has so many good like
relationships to look at. Yeah.
For like how to look at relationships, how to look at grief. Like Jesus wept. Like all these different things. And like
read
how
Job.
Jesus, Job is a huge one. But like how Jesus interacted with people that were grieving is huge too.
It is huge.
So, okay, ending with Conviction Corner.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'm having you go first.
Okay. Conviction/confession corner. I think this last one that just released, episode 5, I talked about hopelessness and how I was dealing with that. I think I have gotten out of that for the most part, but my conviction is I'm like teetering and it's hard. And so I'm out of like hopelessness. I like get glimmers of hope, and I like, I think it's rash. Like I get really rash in it. And so I'll be like, I'm in hope. Oh my gosh, I'm out of it. I'm fine. I'm good.
Oh, gotcha.
And then the littlest thing will make me like, it's over. Like there's no hope again. And so I think that is a conviction I'm feeling, is like to not be so sensitive. Yeah. To not be so fragile with my hope. Yeah. To like if something comes in, to just be like, okay, like that's all right. Yeah. But like that doesn't change this mindset.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
What about you?
Oh, this is a really good one. When you like first brought up, I was like, man, I like need to think about this. Because again, I've touched on multiple times how the Lord's like still like challenging me on like surrender in my life and what all that looks like. And I like felt a little bit of conviction just yesterday. Kyle and I were having a conversation just about like job stuff and life and all of that. And my kind of initial reaction, we were talking about my job and how I was like potentially going to apply for a couple new ones or like what that looks like. I like felt convicted for not trusting God's timing. Again, let me explain why though and how. Because it's not the normal like, I want this to happen now, but it's not happening. Like it more so
I felt... It's not discontentment.
No, it's not discontentment. It felt convicted with the like, I know the Lord's asking something of me during this time, but I haven't done it for the sake of like, oh, I felt busy. When I'm like, ooh, that is not a good excuse. Yeah. And so like something kind of that we like heard in a church sermon not too long ago is like Paul's time of after becoming a believer, what he did during that time before he started his ministry. Yeah. That like gap of time period, like he referred to it as like a spiritual training of like, if you're waiting for what you know the Lord has something coming for you, what are you doing to prepare?
Ooh.
And that hit me so hard because we were having this conversation because there's a schooling I would love to start soon. And I was like, man, like I would just love to do this or whatever. But I like, for some reason, have the need to feel like I need to get X, Y, and Z done before. And like, I know the Lord wants me to do this, but I don't want to. And Kyle was like, hold up. Yeah. Stop talking for a minute. He was like, why? So if you feel like the Lord's calling you to do this, but it's not right now, what are you supposed to be doing in the meantime? I was like, oh, you're right. I was like, I need to be like intertwining every aspect and area of my life with Christ.
Preparing,
being prepared
for,
for when the Lord like has that door open that I can walk through it because he gave me the tools to. So that was really good.
I really love that. Oh, that convicted me.
Good.
Yay. Oh, well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I can't believe we've only got a couple episodes left.
Crazy.
I'm really excited for them.
Me too.
We're just so thankful for you guys for listening along and your kind messages. We get them all the time, and it's so sweet. And so, we're just thankful for you guys.
Very thankful.
We're glad that you listen in, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.